Marvelous morning, students. Today we will be doing revision of chapter number 1 from your reader and chapter number 1 of your grammar. First, we'll be doing the reader part. In this, we will be discussing the chapter 1 Solitude, which is the poem. In this, we talk about the happiness a person search and he likes to avoid pain at any cost. Like every each and person do that. Each person do that. Like in search of happiness, you always try to avoid sadness, pain. And if you are happy and cheerful, you will be always surrounded with the happy people around you. But if you are sad, in grief or pain, so you will have to endure it yourself, as nobody would like to partake it with you because it is on your own. Like how you're going to tackle your sadness, pain, or grief. No one going to be there with you. So this poem is all about the undeniable underlying characteristic of human nature to shun any unpleasant and pain and always go after happiness. A person always go after happiness and always surrounded by people. Like whenever you are happy, you the people are around you like a bee is around the flower or honey. But in your sorrow, in your grief, in your pain, no one is around you. So that you have to tackle yourself. So I will be discussing you with the summary of the poem, stanza wise. So in the first stanza, it has been explained that here the poet is talking about the differences in the way the world treat laughter or happiness and crying or sadness. When we are happy ourselves, others will join in our happiness. This is based on the basic principle that positivity attracts positivity. On the other hand, when we cry, we carry with us negative feelings that repel others and cause them to move away from us. On the same note, the poet says that the earth, referring to the people, has enough sadness of its own and doesn't need any more from other. However, the earth can do by borrowing some happiness and hence is ready to partake in other happiness. In the concluding line of the stanza, the poet says that if we are to sing, the air would reverberate with the joyous echoes, the responses from the people, while if we are to sigh, the very sound would just be lost. As we have just discussed the summary, note exactly that when you are happy, when you laugh, people are around you. And even when the Mother Earth is happy, like sometimes she's sad, but she takes happiness. So it's all about your nature of being sorrow, happiness, and how the other person react to it. In the second stanza, we'll talk about the poet talk about the retreat that while you are happy, you will be surrounded by people who are looking for their share of happiness. But if you are sad, you will lose all that company and be left alone, as nobody wants to be part of other woes. So if you want to retain your friends, be happy and drink of the happiness and sweetness of life, and you will have company to share it with you. On the other hand, if you are found with bitter drink in life, you will have no company to partake it with you. Same way, if you are happy, people will be around, they will cherish your happiness. But if you are not, you're sad, you are like in a grief, no one will be there around because no one wants sadness. No one want to inhale someone's pain. They can make pretend to listen it, but no one is there for you. Moving forward to the third stanza, in this poet is saying the same idea is kind on in like he's saying that the while the hall of player are teeming with people and yet always has room. The aisles of pain are narrow, and one must walk through it in a single file with nobody by their side. While you are successful, there will be many by your side helping you. But when it comes to death, nobody will help you. You must face it alone. So, when the happiness is all around, the hall is filled with people, everyone is there to cherish it, to applaud you. But when it comes to something to death, nobody will be there. Something bad. If failure is there, you are in a part of like drowning down in something it's not expected. No one will be there. The solitude is all about in between the happiness and the sadness. So here I'm ending the discussion. And as we have discussed, like it's the first chapter of your syllabus, which we have done way before. So we have discussed its answers, the correct options, the choose the correct MCQs part, and then the B part, and then the C part equally. So read it, understand it, learn it, and practice it at its best because ABC is important. You have to do because same way MCQs part is also there. So do it perfectly. ABC, refer to the context is equally important. Further, we'll talk about the grammar portion of your book, in which we'll talk about the first chapter, the sentence. In this, we will be talking about the type of sentences and how the sentence is framed. The sentence is a group of words which make a complete sense and start with a capital letter and end with the full stop. So depending or other exclamation mark, or sorry, other punctuation mark, either an exclamation mark or a question mark, depend upon it is. Then a definition of phrase has been written, a group of words that convey some sense but not complete sense. So then that is your phrase. But a phrase doesn't have a subject or a finite verb. For example, a nice story, as it has been written, a gang of thieves, a beautiful dress. Moving forward, definition of clause has been written. A group of words that convey some sense but not complete sense and also has a subject and a finite verb. So in clause, there is a subject and there is a finite verb. So that will be the clause. So here the example is because it was raining and the thieves escaped, but he went there anyway before they go to the airport. So you can see that though they are not making the complete sense, but there is a subject and a finite verb being mentioned. So now we'll talk about the other part, that is the independent clause and what is dependent clause. So independent clause is about a clause which convey complete meaning and can stand alone are called the main or the independent clause. And the clause which depend on the independent clause to convey complete sense are called the subordinate or dependent clause. So, like for example, it has been written that Mr. Jones asked him a question, but he did not know the answer. So you can see in the sentence the highlighted clause can stand alone. So that is the independent clause. Mr. John asked him a question, the independent clause. So other part which has been underlined, that is the dependent clause. It has been dependent on the first part of the sentence, but he didn't know the answer. So that is a dependent clause. Same with the next call me. That's a highlighted part. That is your independent clause, main clause. And the other part which is underlined after you come back from the school, that is the dependent clause. So independent clause that completes complete meaning has been given and it can stand alone. There's no need of dependent clause, but dependent clause need a main clause to complete the meaning of the sentence. So moving forward, we had done the exercise A and exercise B. In exercise A, you have to you have to circle the independent clause and underline the dependent clause. As you can see in the first sentence, this is the house where my father was born. So this is the house is the independent clause as it can stand alone. But where my father was born is a dependent clause because it is all dependent on the first sentence, first part. You will circle that this is the house and underline where my father was born. Secondly, if we see we can see the fifth sentence. If we leave early for the station, we will not get much traffic. So if we leave early for the station is like a independent clause. So second part, we will not get much traffic. It is a dependent clause. And we can do one more, like ninth one. I planted the flower because I like flowers. So I planted the flower will be the independent clause, and because I like flowers will be the dependent clause. Moving forward, the B exercise, here you have to add the suitable word to complete these phrases and clauses and form a sentence. So the first and second part has been done in spring, in which you have to write flower blossom in spring. So you have to use this word and complete the whole with the adding phrase or clause. Second, as it written, so they didn't go out to play. It rained last evening, comma, so they didn't go out to play. We can do like this seventh part because the test was difficult. So I failed because the test was difficult. So either by adding the phrase or the clauses, you have to complete these sentences. And this we have done it before. So have a look, please read it, please understand it carefully. Moving forward, we'll talk about the kind of sentence according to the function. So as you know, the declarative sentences, so there are two type of declarative sentences. One is the assertive sentences that is in the positive form and in a straight way. So we just put a full stop. Okay. Like I study in class 7th, Ravi liked to play cricket, Mahima is cleaning her car. Simply starting with the capital letter and ending with the full stop. This is an assertive sentence. So, like declarative are two type. Like I've told, negative part is also there, positive is there. So we call it affirmative or positive and negative. So I can play a guitar, that is the positive sentence, and I cannot play the guitar, that is the negative sentence. So it's same way, not is being mentioned, cannot, not is being mentioned, with the starting with the capital letter and ending with the full stop. Further, we'll talk about the interrogative sentence. So interrogative sentence is basically based on the question mark sentence. So we ask question here. In interrogative sentences, we ask question. So when will you come to Delhi? Question mark. Did you like the film? Question mark. So I have told you the formula of do, didn't, did, does. Like did is always used in the past tense, right? So interrogative sentences are of some four types. First is a yes no question. Like, are you American? No, I am not. So if the sentence is in the form of the yes no question type, that are you a student of class 7? So yes, I am a student of class 7. Do you like ice cream? Yes, I do. Secondly, we'll talk about WH questions. That the sentence start with the WH part. Who, whom, what, when, where, why, how, which, whose, and end with the question mark. What is your name? Where do you live? When you will be coming? Why you are late? How is the movie? And the question mark. Then we'll talk about the tag question. Tag question are the interrogative fragments that are added at the end of the declarative or imperative sentence to form a question. So first, a declarative or imperative sentence. Imperative is mostly is about the command, request, or piece of advice. So first, in a normal way, a sentence is being written in an affirmative form or in an imperative form, then comma, and then you're writing the question tag. Your pet loves you, comma, doesn't it? They does why you have written because not main verb has been written. So does the helping verb which we have written here. They haven't slept off, have they? So have is this, have they? So first part, if it is in a positive, then the question tag will be in the negative. If the first part of the sentence is in negative, then the question tag will be in the positive because you are not going to change the meaning. That's why if it is in the first part, if it is a positive, then negative in the question tag form. If it is a negative sentence, negative declarative, negative or whatever sentence it, then in the question tag you have to write in the positive form. Okay, because as the note is written, you can't change the meaning. And the last is the choice question. So it's all here choice has been given or you ask. Would you like to go to Singapore or Bali, or will you will you have a coffee or tea? So the answer is like in between the question only when it's or is being written. Okay, so these are your choice questions. Further, we'll talk about the imperative sentences. So, imperative sentence, as I said before, also just that it expresses a request, a command, or a piece of advice. For example, obey your parents and your teachers. Please make some coffee for me. You may take the metro up to Rajiv Chowk. So, here a request is there, command is there, advice is there. Okay. Then we talk about the exclamatory sentence. Here, the strong feeling or express something, sudden emotion and feeling. Okay. So you here you use the punctuation mark, that is the exclamation mark. What a lovely day it is, or what a lovely idea it is. How beautiful the parrot is! Exclamatory mark. Here in the examples also you can find, yeah, here it is in the fifth part, how wonderfully he sings. So it's an exclamatory sentence. Easily with the punctuation mark, you can guess is it an exclamatory sentence or a declarative sentence. And here you have to tell the kinds also as well. Like in first part, it's written, is it going to snow tomorrow? So it's a yes no question, yes or no. Okay. So if we talk about one more, like if I say fourth part, when will the program begin? So it is a interrogative sentence, but it's a WH question. Okay. So next, if we talk about hooray, we have won the match. So it is an exclamatory sentence. Open the door. So here you are ordering someone. So it's an imperative sentence. He's playing golf. Declarative sentence in an affirmative form. So I have discussed with you the kinds also and kind of sentence. Right. Further, we'll talk about the other kind of sentence according to the structure. So a simple sentence had a subject, a verb, okay, and one independent clause. Subject, verb plus one independent clause. And it make a complete sense. I am happy. She is learning to swim. Father bought a new car. If we talk about a compound sentence, so in a compound sentence, the independent clauses, they are two or more independent clauses. Like in simple sentence, just a subject, verb plus independent clause. But in compound sentences, we have two or more independent clauses which are joined by a coordinating conjunction, which are for, and, nor, but, or, yet, or, so. So with these conjunction, the two independent clauses are joined. For example, I like tea, comma, but she liked coffee. So, but she was tired, comma, so she went off to sleep. So she went to the station and bought tickets for the trip. And so how two independent clauses has been joined. So in the remember part, it's written the part of sentence that can stand alone, can convey complete meaning sense is called the mean or independent clause. Same which we have done previously when I was talking to you about in the previous slide. In the first part, the meaning of the independent clause and the dependent clause. That independent clause is a complete meaning in one. So dependent clause is all dependent upon the independent clause. So next part we read in this sentence, she came to my house and went off to sleep. In this sentence, both the part she came to my house plus went off to sleep are independent clause because both of these parts convey complete sense are independent to each other. The part of the sentence that is dependent on the other part is called a subordinate or dependent clause, as we have discussed before. Like Marina had left before I could reach Disha's house. So Marina had left, that it's standing independently. But the sentence I could reach Trisha's house. So it can't stand alone. So with the this sentence, first part, it is dependent on the first part. So here it is a dependent clause, right? So this is the meaning which we have discussed before also, independent dependent clause. So In compound sentences, we have two independent clause which are joined by the coordinating conjunction. Okay. Further, if we talk about the complex uh, sentence, so complex sentence has an independent clause and one or more dependent clause. So here it is a relationship is between a independent clause or one or more dependent clause. So here the subordinating conjunctions are like this: because, that, when, until, though, although, or while. So these are the sub subordinate conjunctions which are used to join the independent clause or and the dependent clause. For example, she went out for a walk although it was raining. So with the although the is the conjunction which has been used to join the dependent clause, independent clause and the dependent clause, right? Further, like you can see in sentence, Mary left early because she had to catch a flight early in the morning. So Mary left early is the independent clause. Because is the sub subordinating conjunction. So she had to catch a flight early in the morning is the dependent clause. Dependent clause, right? So in the D part, you have to identify the sentences. Is it a simple sentence, or is it a compound sentence, or a complex sentence? For example, if we see the fifth part, I saw a girl who had blue eyes. So it is a complex sentence because here there it has been, and one independent clause is there and one dependent clause is in written. If we talk about another part, we'll take the 13th part. Everyone enjoyed the film, however, I didn't. So here it is a compound clause, sorry, compound sentence. So here two independent clause has been joined with the coordinating conjunction. So I hope you understand this and you will do your, and we have discussed the answers before also. And any query, do share with me and study well, all the best. And if is there anything which you have not with you, you can share it with your friends. And if still you didn't get, you can ping me personally. Thank you.